It's a great night to come inside here at Arco Arena. The Sacramento Kings open up a 4-game homestand. The Orlando Magic, the team to come in, and the former King, Hedo Turkoglu, makes his way back into the building. That he was such an important player for these fans who have come spirited despite the fact the Kings have lost their last two. These fans are ready to cheer him on tonight here at one of the great basketball spectacles, Arco Arena. How you doing, everybody? Welcome in. House Party Live here on Comcast Sportsnet. Kings and the Magic. And of course, when I say Kings and Magic, I think of two things. I think of Henry Turner, the King, and Magic. Next to me is Kayte Christensen. I'm Jim Kozmar.
It just gets thicker and thicker. I can barely walk through it anymore.
And it's right off the top of the head. I don't write that material. It just jumps at me. It writes itself, is what I like to say. Gang, Kings coming home. They get things started with a 4-game homestand. Last time we were here for a 4-game homestand, though, didn't go that well, did it?
Definitely didn't end how they wanted to, and then they went on the road, and that didn't end how they wanted to either. But this team is playing better. They are playing with a lot of injuries right now, and it just seems to be never ending at this point. So I wouldn't count them out. I think they're playing really, really well, especially given their circumstances, and they're in every game.
And Henry, as much as it feels good to get on the road when you lose 4 at home, maybe it feels good to come home after you've lost a couple on the road.
For sure. You want to come back and get your home stand going, and you get your home crowd behind you, because that will help you push through some bad times. You know, they get the Arco Thunder behind them, and they can come out and win a couple of games.
Well, this last 3-game road trip was really difficult to swallow for the Kings because they played well in all 3 games and could have won all 3. Night 1 in the Big Apple. Right after the New Year's, the change of the calendar, but no change in John Salmon's game. Kayte, this guy is comfortable, and he's a leader right now.
You know, it is absolutely no secret that John Salmons is most comfortable in the starting lineup, and his confidence is sky high right now. He's shooting 58% from the floor in the last 5 games. He is just playing extremely well.
And after a Kings win in New York and 32 points from Salmons, the Kings 2 nights later in Cleveland hurt themselves with turnovers. 4 in the last 3 minutes of the ball game, and Cleveland took advantage of 21 turnovers overall. The Kings aren't good enough to overcome that, Henry.
No, they're not. And the bad thing about it, Jim, is that the Sacramento Kings had control of both of these games against Cleveland and against Chicago, and they did the exact same thing in both games. At the end, start turning the ball over, and you can't do that when you're on the road and trying to win basketball games.
Yeah, chance for Sacramento to take the lead. Salmons turns it over. That's one of 18 turnovers on Sacramento. And then Ben Wallace had 1 point. There it is. He had 1 block shot, Kayte, and this one stings. This is a tough way to lose a game.
A very tough way to lose a game, especially given the circumstances. It was the second game of a back-to-back. They lost a tough one the night before, and their confidence right now may be wavering a little bit, but it's more of a mental thing. I think they're mentally starting to feel just uncomfortable and tired with the circumstance. They're battling every night, and it just seems like they're on the losing end most nights.
That's the tough part, and the bench is going to have to come up big. But Henry, when you look at the way the Kings have played over the last 3 ball games, might there be a part of them that says, we're angry right now. We should have won 3 ball games on the road. Let's go home and finish the job.
For sure. The guys in the locker room looking over the schedule, understanding that they had control over their own destiny. They know they slipped up and they gave the games back. And then when you lose games like that, you look down at the end of the bench and you see all of your starters, all your guys who are your go-to guys, and you're like, wow, there is an upside to us losing.
One reason the Kings were not only in those games but had chances to win in Cleveland and Chicago has been the increasingly great play of John Salmons. And I use that term great. Kayte, over the last 5, this guy's shooting nearly 60%.
And the funny thing is, too, is that he just seems to get better and better and more comfortable. And there's an obvious difference between when he comes off the bench and when he's in the starting lineup. But I think the great thing right now is that he's starting to get to the point, I think, that even when you do have some healthy bodies back, that he's realizing that he is valuable to this team, and it doesn't matter if he's coming off the bench or if he's in the starting lineup. They need him, and he's going to get those minutes.
Kayte, you touched on it a couple of minutes ago, the fact that these starters might be getting a little bit tired just with the circumstance when you have 3 of your top players out. In fact, 52% of your offense from a year ago in Artest, Bibby, and Martin not with the ball club because of injury right now. There comes that point when it can be a little bit daunting mentally. Reggie Theus told me that just a couple of minutes ago when I had a chance to talk to him. But Henry, that means the bench needs to come through right now. And over the last couple of ball games, we've seen signs of guys taking advantage of that opportunity.
For sure, the bench has been great. You've got guys like Quincy Doobie coming off the bench, doing a good job. You have Justin Williams coming in with limited minutes, showing you what he can do. And you also have Dante Jones, who is coming into his own. So you have to be positive about your deep bench. Now, you also have John Salmons and Francisco Garcia, who's your intermediate bench. So, you know, when your starters come back, you're going to have a very deep bench. You can go to anybody out there, Jim.
For now, how do you earn minutes if you're a player coming off the bench? How do you gain Reggie's trust?
Well, I think that right now the best way to do it is you're actually getting minutes that you normally wouldn't be getting because of the circumstances. So you have to go out and make use of those minutes on the court. But usually early in the season, the best way to get time on the court is to practice well and prove yourself in practice. But as the season wears on and you're playing more and more games, you practice less. So that's why it's so important to take advantage of practice early in the season and to take advantage of situations like right now where you're going to be playing because of injuries.
All right, let's take a look at the team the Kings play tonight, the Orlando Magic. And would you believe they begin 4 games and 5 nights out west? And after this stretch, they are done traveling west for the whole season. They will finish their road schedule. But man, they might want to go back, guys, to playing on the road. Look at that, 15-5 when they play on the road so far this year.
It seems like they're comfortable playing on the road, even more comfortable than playing at home. And seeing that you have all your road games out, it will be real good just to play the rest of your games at home.
Well, and I think the one thing that's different is that they have a great big man in Dwight Howard, and the West isn't necessarily full of great big men to defend him, more so in the East. So I think that they're kind of rolling through the West and liking what they're seeing.
Yeah, Dwight Howard's a great equalizer.
Yeah.
He could be tired, he's young, he's 22 years old, so he's not going to get as tired. He's big, he's brutal, he's having a great year, he's going to be an all-star. So Orlando, a team to be reckoned with out east. They come out west, and it all starts tonight for them here in Sacramento, taking on the Kings. And well, this Magic team has an interesting story, and one of their guards, Jameer Nelson, the former first-rounder, has had an interesting last 6 months. We'll focus in on it next on the House Party Live.